Meet our protagonist Dang Pham. This handsome guy just reincarnated, and he is already living the absolute dream life. He spends his days feasting on legendary delicacies while protected by literal monsters. He even gets full-body massages before bed. You see, he is now a supreme demon king. While he does not fear powerful enemies, there is one massive problem. His own disciples are plotting to assassinate him. If they kill him, they can break through their limits and reach godhood. Can Dang Pham survive his own subordinates and achieve his goals? Let us travel back 1 month to where it all began. In his previous life, Dang Pham was a sickly man on the verge of death. He was a struggling horror writer. After recording a final video to leave his collection of horror stories to the world, he finally breathed his last breath. But instead of eternal rest, his consciousness surged back. He opened his eyes to find a stunning beauty tending to him. The woman suddenly fled in total shock, as if she had just seen a ghost return from the grave. Dang Pham realized he had transmigrated into his own story. The woman was Feng Xinyang, a character he actually created. She rushed back and pulled him into a suffocatingly tight embrace. He realized he was now inhabiting the body of a fallen demon king. He had been unconscious for 6 months. He could barely breathe until Xinyang realized her mistake and apologized to her master. She slowly helped him outside to help recover his lost memories. This place was the mysterious inn and its manager. Xinyang called out to a man who seemed addicted to alcohol. Even without an introduction, Dang Pham recognized him immediately. That was no ordinary wine in his hand. It was pure blood. The vampire he created looked even cooler in person. A Min stepped forward coldly to greet his master. Despite the formal gesture, his eyes were filled with hidden contempt. Xinyang pulled her master away from that arrogant vampire. She insisted they go and meet the rest of the crew. Dang Pham stood frozen in disbelief. Before him stood the snow dwarf and the massive titan known as Han Luke. Seeing his 2-dimensional drawings come to life in 3 dimensions was more epic than he ever imagined. Then there was the cunning blind man and the Jiangshi named Luong Trin. Each one was a peak king of their race. They were all legendary characters created by him and his colleagues. Now, they were hosting a banquet in his honor. They celebrated the return of their master, hoping he would lead them to conquer the world once again. Sitting among these terrifying figures, Dang Pham was still reeling from the shock. He decided to seize this golden opportunity. The Demon Kings raised their glasses to celebrate his awakening. They claimed they finally had a reliable leader to follow. While they toasted to his health, Dang Pham felt the pressure. He realized he had to play this role perfectly to survive. He put on a serious face and asked them a crucial question. He wanted to know how they made money while he slept. He was curious about what they had been doing for the past 6 months in this confined space. The Demon Kings were stunned. The blind man revealed a shocking truth to their returned master. Upon entering this world, even these mighty Demon Kings were turned into ordinary humans. Their godlike powers had completely vanished. Dang Pham was floored. These were supposed to be world-ending tyrants capable of causing bloodbaths with a single thought. Now they were just regular people living in a cramped apartment. It made sense why they were stuck here for so long. He felt a sense of relief. If these monsters actually had their full power, they would have likely destroyed the entire world. He still did not understand why they called him master. He was just a writer, not a hero or a demon. Honestly, he lacked the courage to actually try and control these legendary beings if they ever regained their strength. He then asked Xinyang about the Demon Core. Both she and the blind man were characters his friend had designed. He was just a co-creator who helped out. However, the one known as the Demon Son was his own masterpiece. If the Demon Son was by his side, he would feel much more secure in this dangerous new world. He wondered if his past artistic skills were lacking, considering he designed his spiritual son to look like a steamed bun. Xinyang brought out the Demon Son inside a mysterious wooden box. It was a strange and silent entity. Without a physical body or the need for food, the Demon Son had sealed itself inside a sacred stone. Dang Pham returned to his room and began talking to the sealed stone. He complained about its lack of a proper greeting. Even though it was sealed, he felt the Demon Son could hear his every word. He demanded it show its face. The stone remained silent, giving him no respect at all. But that was not the only thing weighing on his mind. If all their powers were truly gone, why would these terrifying kings bow down to a weak human like him? He suspected that even Xinyang and the others were merely pretending to be loyal while hiding their true intentions. As the shadows deepened, Dang Pham casually sealed the artifact. Outside, the once mighty Armin looked pathetic, nursing a farming injury. A legendary vampire wounded by a plow? Fan Luke sighed, reminding the fallen lords they were now mere mortals without power. Fan Luke urged him to treat the wound before it festered, but Armin's demonic pride remained as impenetrable as ever. Even stripped of his status, Armin boasted of his superior recovery. Within 3 days, his hand would be perfectly whole again. Seeing his stubbornness, Fan Luke simply served the wine. Meanwhile, Dang Pham decided it was time for a serious confrontation. Dang Pham summoned Armin for a private talk. The arrogant vampire followed, though his expression remained cold and distant. Armin refused to sit, claiming the chair was filthy. His noble obsession with cleanliness was truly a sight to behold. Dang Pham unleashed a barrage of questions about this world. Armin's answer? Total ignorance. He was just a simple winemaker now. If it is information you seek, talk to Blindback. He sits at the gate all day, watching the world go by. Dang Pham was flabbergasted. You legends were transported to a new world and did zero scouting for 6 whole months? He began his lecture on survival. Every gamer knows that clearing the fog of war is the most vital step. This was an isekai scenario, yet they were acting like NPCs. Armin just shrugged, blaming their lack of progress on one thing. Apparently, it was all Dang Pham's fault for being in a coma. The logic was flawed, but the audacity was peak. Armin leaned in, telling Dang Pham not to fear the Demon Kings. They weren't looking to rebel just yet. He admitted they looked down on him. To these former gods, their creator currently looked like a weak, fragile insect, yet they never abandoned him. Even while he was unconscious and useless, the Mavwangs stayed by his side. Dang Pham found it hard to believe. Was this some high-stakes loyalty, or just a very elaborate prank? He expected a dramatic betrayal, especially from someone as cruel as Armin. This plot twist was getting far too wholesome. A bloodthirsty vampire acting like a loyal knight? Dang Pham wondered if Armin had accidentally picked up the wrong script. Armin explained that while his friends had vanished, Dang Pham remained. He was the one who gave them a destiny. Because Dang Pham continued their story, they owed him their existence. They were bound to his pen and his soul. They waited for him to wake up, guarding his life with their own. Their loyalty was absolute and terrifyingly deep. Armin stopped himself before saying too much. He pointed toward Blindback, the man who knew the world's hidden secrets. As Armin walked away, Dang Pham pondered. They despised his weakness, yet they would never dare to leave him. It clicked. These demon kings knew they were characters in a story created by Dang Pham and his former colleagues. He was their god. Grateful for their protection, Dang Pham watched Armin leave. But then, something strange happened. Armin looked at his hand and froze. Without any medicine or time, his shattered bones had completely spontaneously healed. The other lords were busy with their mundane jobs. Tuyet Tam had traded his blade for a storyteller's fan. Up on the stage, the former butcher spun tales of epic wars. The audience sat enthralled by his dramatic narrations. The crowd cheered for more. Dang Pham found it hilarious. A mass murderer was now the village's favorite entertainer. If his former readers saw this, they would die laughing. The god of slaughter was now a humble man of words. Then there was Phong Tu Nuong. In the comics, she ruled empires, but here, she was just running a shack. This had to be the most budget isekai ever. From world-conquering legends to penniless refugees in a dusty tavern. If they had even a fraction of their original power, they would have conquered this entire realm before breakfast. Blindback chimed in, sensing Dang Pham's thoughts. This world seemed normal, but it was fractured and highly unstable. For half a year, he had sensed only ordinary people. No heroes, no gods, just a sea of mundane souls. Suddenly, a horse as colorful as a rainbow galloped past. It looked like a legendary mount from a high fantasy epic. How could a blind man judge what is normal? That night, the secret council of the Demon Kings finally gathered. Phong Tu Nuong assembled everyone in the main hall. The atmosphere was heavy. The time for games was finally over. Dang Pham cut to the chase. He asked them about the true nature of this world and their ultimate goals. Phong Tu Nuong bowed her head. Their opinions were irrelevant. The only path that mattered was the one he chose. The Mavwangs waited with bated breath. Would their master choose the path of peace or a trail of destruction? They had left the tavern nameless, waiting for his awakening. Every detail of their new life was for him to decide. Whether they became heroes or villains, it was all up to Dang Pham. His word was their absolute, divine law. Would he simply wait for death? Or would he reclaim his throne? He had returned from the abyss for more. Dang Pham chose the name without a second thought. Even Xinyang wondered if he was being too reckless. But to him, hesitation was a waste of time. He always craved the thrill of absolute, terrifying power. Dominating everything was his only true interest. In his past life, he could only dream of such chaos. Now, reincarnated into this strange new world, only the Demon Kings were worth his attention. Every day here felt like a divine gift. He wasn't about to sit around and wait for death. Life is just a game to be played. If he loses, he simply considers the debt paid. The Demon Kings were electrified by his words. They finally had a leader who thrived on danger. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅, infiltrate the district office tonight. Gather every scrap of intel as fast as possible. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅, blend into the merchant caravans. Find us a permanent base to sink our claws into. The blind man spoke up with a wicked grin. He had already targeted the governor's wife for their scheme. He played the part of a divine fortune teller, setting the stage for a deadly encounter at their inn. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅, charm the guests tonight. Luong Trin and Amin will be your shadows. He treated her like a masterpiece for his lord. Turns out, this place was a honey trap for prey. One soft touch, and then eternal sleep. True demons never run a legitimate business, after all. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 smirked, ready to play her part. Tonight, she would be the most expensive flower in the city. Dang Pham watched them, realizing the truth. These monsters had been suppressing their nature for too long. They weren't being obedient out of virtue. They were simply starving for a command to kill. Before his awakening, their lives were meaningless. But now, the king had returned to lead the pack. They were overjoyed to finally spill blood. This was the true nature of the Demon Kings. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 ran into Amin while preparing. Didn't you eat? Is your phoenix blood failing you? Amin's grip tightened as a dark aura flickered. The terrifying power within him was finally stirring. The pieces were moving across the board. Spies in the desert. Infiltrators in the government. The blind strategist was already deep in his web. Only Dang Pham remained seemingly clueless in the middle. Can I help with anything? Dang Pham asked. Amin looked at him with profound reverence. Lord, you've already done so much. Your presence alone restored my lost demonic strength. Dang Pham blinked, completely confused. He thought helping just meant not causing a mess, but a new problem arose at the auction. A wealthy brat was throwing around way too much gold. Backed by elite guards, he acted like a god. A classic, arrogant young master looking for trouble. He had been causing chaos without any consequences. His family's influence must be truly massive. If he is too troublesome, just ignore him. But the subordinates had a different idea of ignoring. This rich brat had money, power, and lethal escorts. They couldn't let 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 face such a threat alone. According to Amin, the guards were highly skilled. They knew exactly how to hunt their targets. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 had already accepted the payment. The brat expected a night with her, but he was dreaming. If the Lord wills it, I will slaughter them all. Amin's bloodlust was reaching its breaking point. Later, Dang Pham arrived with a jar of wine. Luong Trin was shocked to see his lord there. I just wanted to help, Dang Pham muttered. He planned to just smash the jar and run. He worried they saw him as a burden. Little did he know, they saw him as a god. Lord, please do not push yourself, Luong Trin sighed. If anything happens to you, we are all doomed. Even the cold-blooded Luong Trin was genuinely worried. Protecting Dang Pham was their absolute priority. Dang Pham could not understand these demons. Meanwhile, the arrogant young master was celebrating. He was flirting with 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅, unaware of his fate. Tomorrow would be the anniversary of his death. He was lost in her beauty, falling for the trap. Outside, Amin was testing his lethal new power. He pierced his own hand, watching the blood flow. As he licked it, his eyes glowed crimson. The demonic energy was back in full force. Inside, the young master was already doomed. He had never seen such a stunning woman. He had no idea he was staring at his executioner. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 plays her part perfectly, her charm masking the deadly intent hidden within this room. Outside, Luong Trin and Dang Pham reach the door but are stopped by a vigilant guard. Luong Trin quickly claims they're delivering premium wine on the manager's orders to satisfy the guest. The guard is hesitant, but Luong Trin insists it's a special gift from the establishment itself. Seeing the frail-looking Dang Pham holding the wine, the guard dismisses him as a harmless weakling. He lets them pass, unaware he just made a fatal mistake that will cost him everything. Inside, the noble is blinded by lust, ready to strip down and indulge in sinful desires. 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 teases him, wrapping her stocking around his neck while he remains completely oblivious. In a flash, they strike a wine jar to the head and a lethal hairpin to the throat. Done. One perverted noble sent to hell. Outside, the guard struggles against Luong Trin's hidden skill. The guard targets Dang Pham, thinking he's the weakest, but Luong Trin strikes him first. Realizing he's fighting a professional death soldier, the guard finally decides to stop holding back. He erupts with powerful chi, but Dang Pham just smirks like he found a giant fish. Sensing death, the guard bursts into the room only to find his master already a corpse. Suddenly, a flash of purple light strikes. Amin descends like a demon from the shadows. The guard stabs Amin, thinking she's a normal girl, pinning her ruthlessly against the wall. He demands to know who they are, but Amin only responds with a chilling, psychotic laugh. Suddenly, her fangs extend. The true power of a vampire queen awakens within her petite body. She drains his life in seconds, leaving a dried-up husk where a warrior once stood. Dark wings erupt from her back as Amin fully regains her terrifying, bloodthirsty demonic form. The next day, they act like nothing happened while the blind man explains this world's map. This world is far more chaotic than expected, filled with hidden powers and shifting borders. They are currently in Tiger Head City, a strategic point within the Northern Wind District. The Yan Kingdom consists of 7 districts, with the capital located far away in Heaven City. Northern Wind has been a bloody battlefield for centuries against the desert barbarians and invaders. Internal politics and external threats have left this northern frontier isolated and ripe for the taking. With enemies like the hungry Jin Kingdom nearby, the Central Plains are a constant powder keg. The world is divided between 4 great powers: Yan, Jin, Chu, and Gan, all seeking dominance. Dang Pham realizes his blind strategist is a walking encyclopedia, far more useful than he looks. He learns of magic, battle aura, and the 9 ranks of cultivation that govern this realm. Rank 9 is the weakest, yet even that guard didn't reach it. The power ceiling is massive. Dang Pham isn't worried. He's seen these tropes a million times in his old life as an artist. Now that he's living the story, he finds this reincarnation thing quite entertaining and fun. The blind man proposes a grand plan for world conquest, eager to show his absolute loyalty. Dang Pham finds the strategist's constant flattery a bit stiff and overly dramatic at times. The strategist insists it's because the master doesn't fully trust his subordinate's hidden potential yet. But then, the strategist feels a surge of energy. His lost mystical powers are finally returning. He teleports a cabbage across the table, realizing Dang Pham's trust is his source of power. Overwhelmed, he thanks his master for the divine blessing that restored his ancient magical abilities. Later, Dang Pham finds 𝑶𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒆𝒅 working on complex formations like a busy little child. The boy explains they need these arrays to secure their foundation in Tiger Head City. Dang Pham hands him a hammer and offers a casual word of encouragement to the boy. Just a simple pat on the shoulder, but the air around them suddenly begins to tremble. The boy coughs, then suddenly performs a one-fingered handstand as his physical strength explodes. Dang Pham walks away, completely unaware that his casual praise just created another monster. Our Lord is finally adjusting to his eccentric subordinates. Everything seemed normal until he visited the 4th lady. Just as he approached her door, a sudden laugh from the 3rd demon made Dang Pham jump. He tripped and fell, and of course, he landed face first right into the 4th lady's softest assets. Our main character turns beet red. He stammers to explain, while the lady just looks on flirtatiously. "I brought these clothes for you, my lord," she whispers, blushing as she helps him change. For 6 months, while he was unconscious, she spent every free moment sewing these garments for him. "It fits perfectly," she smiles. Dang Pham is suddenly hit by a wave of unexpected emotion. As a lonely orphan, no one had ever shown him this kind of warmth or care before. Sensing his mood, she pulls him close. "I can be anyone you need, Lord. Even a motherly figure. Our pure Lord is totally overwhelmed. Compared to these wicked demons, he's still an innocent soul. I'm an expert at roleplay, you know," she teases. But the spicy mood is suddenly ruined. The blind man barges in. A furious 4th lady hurls a cup at him for being a 3rd wheel. "This is urgent," the blind man cries. "The Imperial Army is at the gate, demanding soldiers." He ruins the romantic atmosphere, making the 4th lady bite her handkerchief in pure rage. "Forget flirting," he shouts. "The soldiers are here to conscript everyone for the upcoming great expedition. These arrogant guards think the demon kings are just commoners. They've come to drag them to war. The army is desperate for grain transporters. They've decided everyone here is now named Dang. The petty officer thinks he can bully our lord. He threatens them with his blade, acting high and mighty. "Don't be late, or my sword won't be merciful," he barks. This guy really has a death wish. The 4th lady tries her weak damsel act, making excuses about everyone being sick or away. She claims they have tuberculosis to scare him off, but the officer is too stupid to be afraid. He orders Dang Pham and the blind man to report to the outer camp by noon tomorrow. This is getting complicated. Fighting the entire empire right now isn't part of the plan. The blind man suggests fleeing under the cover of night, but our Lord has a different idea. "If they want us to go, we go," Dang Pham declares. The demons are instantly moved by his bravery. They think their Lord is a fearless warrior who refuses to run from a challenge. In truth, Dang Pham just doesn't want to lose the business they've built over the last 6 months. This city is the first step of his grand design. Giving it up now would be a total waste. Abandoning everything means starting from zero. To our main character, that's just not efficient at all. Besides, the Demon Kings haven't recovered their full power yet. Open rebellion would be suicide right now. Better to infiltrate their ranks and observe the enemy's strength while hiding our own cards. Our Lord is a true strategic genius. The blind man cheers, praising his foresight and wisdom. He decides to bring the third demon along. Even a tiny devil is a powerhouse in battle. The fourth lady begs to go too, wanting to serve her lord on the front lines. Absolutely not. The blind man snaps. Your beauty would cause a riot among the starved soldiers. Their duty is to be the Lord's hidden blades and sweep away every obstacle in his path. Dang Pham feels a sense of pride. He didn't create these subordinates for nothing, but the blind man knows the Lord won't just sit back and let them do all the work. A true king must stand above the rest. The next day, the duo heads to the camp. Immediate deployment? Dang Pham frowns. Why is the military situation suddenly so desperate? This is his first real battle since being reborn. Something feels very wrong with this setup. They are assigned to the grain transport, but the main army is nowhere to be seen. Usually, heavy infantry protects the supplies. Here, there isn't a single track from the main force. No scale, no objective, no orders. They're being sent into the fog of war completely blind. Our Lord has just stepped onto the battlefield, and it's already looking like a massive trap. Sensing a foul stench in the air, Dang Pham realizes they've been cast as mere sacrificial pawns. His loyal shadow, 𝑶𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅, returns with a report a dark secret has finally come to light. While scouting the supply wagons, 𝑶𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 discovered a horrifying truth. They aren't transporting grain, but rocks. Luong Trin warns with a grim face. Master, I fear a bloody catastrophe is brewing for us tonight. Dang Pham already sensed the trap, yet he probes further what other hidden clues has Luong Trin unearthed. Examining the terrain, they find a perfect fortress, a valley with secure water and no way to be cut off. This natural choke point allows for an impenetrable defense, minimizing the area they need to guard from invaders. It seems his past life as a web novel author is paying off. His strategic genius is finally awakening. Luong Trin notes the plan: a tiny cavalry force for the front, while the rest prepare for an ambush. The unarmed peasants will be slaughtered instantly, causing the entire camp to implode from within. Pure chaos. Luong Trin's sharp observation is chillingly accurate. He notices the subtle, predatory movements of the Imperial cavalry. These soldiers aren't guarding the camp, they're acting as jailers, keeping Dang Pham's group pinned as live bait. Using a former demon king as bait? These fools are about to witness the true terror of his monsters. Dang Pham weighs his options. Should he warn the corrupt officers, or lead the peasants into battle himself? Tactical talk is useless now. The commander has already discarded them. Any protest will only lead to execution. Survival is the only law. With Luong Trin and 𝑶𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 by his side, who dare stand against him? As darkness falls, the savage barbarians strike. They descend upon the camp like famished, bloodthirsty wolves. The weak sentries are silenced in a heartbeat, their throats open before they can utter a single scream. One unlucky barbarian slips into a tent, only to find Luong Trin waiting to crush his throat like dry glass. 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 isn't lagging behind, his twin blades dancing through the air to claim two heads effortlessly. A signal flare screams into the sky. The barbarians launch their full-scale massacre under the pale moonlight. The savages charge with a singular goal: leave no soul alive in this camp. A total annihilation begins. But these fools don't realize. They are the ones who will never see the sun rise again. The barbarians and Great Yan have been locked in a century-long blood feud. Only death ends this war. From the shadows, the trio watches the carnage unfold. Dang Pham's cold eyes analyze every drop of blood. His suspicions are confirmed. The trap is sprung. Now that the fish have bitten, it's time to pull the net. Lord, it's a bloodbath. Should we use this chaos to escape? 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 whispers urgently. Escape? Never. Reborn into this world, the Demon King plays to win, and he plays for keeps. Aren't barbarian heads worth a fortune in gold and military rank? Dang Pham asks with a wicked grin. 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 shivers with excitement. His master's ambition is truly as dark as the deepest abyss. A barbarian spots the trio and charges, swinging a massive axe to claim 3 more easy trophies. Too slow. 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒅 strikes first, his blade severing the brute's artery in a flash of silver. Another rider lunges forward, but Luong Trin's monstrous power erupts, pinning both man and horse to the earth. Luong Trin holds the prey, still the final blow belongs to the master and him alone. Without a trace of hesitation, Dang Pham swings his blade. A clean decapitation sprays crimson across the dirt. As the blood splatters his face, Dang Pham realizes something terrifying. The metallic scent actually smells sweet. Your first kill? 𝒂𝒐𝒏 offers a flask. Drink up, master. The first one is always a bit messy. Once you get used to the rhythm of death, you'll find it's the most addictive game there is. Truly, these are the monsters Dang Pham created, cold-blooded killers. He pours the wine over his head in baptism. A wolf would never let a sheep lead the pack. If Dang Pham isn't the strongest, he's nothing. To keep these demon kings in line, he must embody a terror far greater than their own. He must become the ultimate predator, more ruthless and savage than the wolves themselves. Seeing the bait has worked, the Imperial cavalry finally charges in to save the day and steal the glory. What a despicable scheme. Using innocent lives as bait just to win a battle, even 𝒂𝒐𝒏 is disgusted. That general is a serpent in human skin, a master of cruel tactics who treats lives like garbage. Liang Cheng scoffs, slaughtering 1,000 fodder is boring work. They're just too pathetic. Mid-sentence, a lethal arrow streaks toward the trio. Liang Cheng and Xiao Tam react instantly. They shove Dang Pham down, saving his head from a spear. The enemy commander has arrived. Sensing their monstrous strength, the leader targets our heroes first to eliminate the threat. Liang Cheng draws his blade. To a demon king, this isn't a fight, it's a massacre. The sword swings. To the world, it's an epic clash. But for him, it's showtime. The barbarian chief blocks, but the impact sends shockwaves and lightning toward Dang Pham. Dang Pham tells the others to go help. He'll handle himself against this arrogant show-off. Our hero prepares to send him to the ancestors. The chief thinks he has won. Overwhelmed. As the chief lunges, Dang Pham strikes like lightning. Alikos realizes too late he is trapped. Alikos tries to move, but his body is frozen. He's been lethally poisoned during the clash. Earlier, when Liang Cheng pierced his chest, his hands were already coated in demonic toxins. Dang Pham doesn't disappoint, delivering a finishing blow. Exhausted, he is helped up by Liang Cheng. Liang Cheng recalls the Blind One's prophecy. Even if the Demon Kings look down on him, they must never forget Dang Pham is their creator. He is the origin of their existence. If this world is a cage, then Dang Pham was its first and most vital prisoner. The Demon King's only duty is to provide him the perfect environment to evolve freely. Dang Pham is the true master, the supreme architect behind every single Demon King. The Blind One swore he would become a leader worthy of their eternal, absolute loyalty. The battle ends. The barbarians are crushed. Dang Pham orders his subordinates to gather the loot. Xiao Tam drags out the tribal chief, 𝒂𝒐𝒏. Look, master, we caught a massive fish. He asks if capturing the old man alive brings a bigger reward. But Dang Pham hesitates. The chief saw their true, forbidden power. Keeping him alive is a massive, dangerous risk. He saw things no mortal should. Since reincarnating, Dang Pham has become cold and decisive. The chief's eyes bulge in terror as he realizes his fate. He lets out one last demonic screech. Xiao Tam swings his blade, ending the barbarian line and sending him below. An army general arrives, seeing the trio. Dang Pham is casually holding the chief's severed head. The general is stunned. Wasn't the entire army searching for this high-value target? He thinks these 3 farmers just got lucky. Greed takes over, he wants the credit himself. The general orders his men to kill them. He charges forward to silence the witnesses. He screams for his soldiers to strike, but his head rolls before he finishes his sentence. Typical villains die fast. The killer, the stunning county princess of Zhenbei, Li Cheng. She orders Dang Pham to wash up and visit her tent. Wait, is this an rated turn? Later, Liang Cheng and Xiao Tam are bathing, gossiping about what the princess wants with him. Xiao Tam wonders if this is a cross-dressing girl trope from those classic web novels. He dreams of building a harem for Dang Pham, starting with this noble, beautiful general. Li Cheng has status and beauty. If Dang Pham takes her, it benefits the Demon Kings. After all, their recovery and growth are tied directly to Dang Pham's own cultivation level. Liang Cheng snaps back. That woman isn't worthy. No human is fit for their supreme master. Xiao Tam wonders if Liang Cheng is addicted to flattery, but the Demon King is serious. With them by his side, Dang Pham can claim the most divine woman in existence. Xiao Tam finally realizes the truth. Their power recovery is the most urgent priority now. How much power can they regain? Can they evolve further? Everything depends on one man. 6 months ago, when Dang Pham first awoke, all the Demon Kings had lost their strength. They were hiding as commoners, but now, his ancient power finally awakens. Dang Pham's strength far exceeds any elite warrior. He is a true anomaly. Our Demon King MC is definitely the author's favorite. Then Xiao San remembered something. He forgot to warn Dang Pham. The general is actually a woman. His perv logic advice? If guards block you, just charge inside anyway. She's probably bathing, he says. Dang Pham thinks he's a total degenerate. Xiao San only thinks of lewd things, while Liang Cheng remains stone cold. Liang Cheng warns of execution, but Xiao San calls him a boring buzzkill. Finally, Dang Pham enters the camp to face the legendary general. General Li Cheng is impressed. You've earned a reward. Choose wisely. Option 1. Join the Li family army and become their loyal servant. Option 2. Become the Tiger Head city guard. She expects him to pick loyalty. Plot twist. Dang Pham chooses option 2. Why be a servant when you can be king? I love my home city, he lies. Inside, he thinks she's absolutely delusional. Serve her? With 7 demon kings under his command? Not a chance. Meanwhile, his demon kings are busy painting the city in blood. Amin stands amidst a mountain of corpses, completely unharmed by steel or axe. Next target, the 3 gods. The blind man has already begun the purge. The Lord will return soon. We must clear the path of all trash. What about the convoy outside? The blind man sent Tu Nuong to clean up. By now, she's likely turned that entire camp into a graveyard. Tu Nuong sips wine elegantly, surrounded by silence, wondering about her master. Dang Pham's trio is 1 day away from returning to Tiger Head City. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. Liang Cheng senses a hidden presence. They draw their blades. A mysterious woman emerges from the shadows. The wind is cold, she says, offering wine with a deceptive smile. Dang Pham's instincts scream poison. He's no naive protagonist. She's Ai, the barbarian tribe's top mage. She drinks first to trick them. She claims to be protecting the chieftain's heirs from a brutal chase. Dang Pham realizes these are the very people General Li was hunting. Seeing the Li family crest, Ai's eyes fill with murderous intent. Misunderstanding? No time. She splashes cursed wine, initiating her dark spell. 2 barbarians instantly transform into mindless, high-tier zombies. Look, Liang Cheng, they look like your long-lost relatives. Dang Pham jokes. Go say hi. Liang Cheng steps forward and lets out a terrifying roar. The roar shatters her control. Ai's puppets freeze in pure terror. Shocked, she activates her curse eye to see Liang Cheng's true nature. Her soul trembles. She isn't facing a man, but a primordial zombie king. Liang Cheng steals her puppets with a mere glance, turning them against her. Ai desperately flees, using the children as shields while dodging attacks. Cornered, she makes a fatal mistake. She runs straight toward Dang Pham. He draws his blade, but she heartlessly holds a child in the way. Disgusted, he spares the child, and Ai seizes the opening. A blade at his throat. She thinks she's won. How cute. She snatched the blade, aiming for Dang Pham's throat. But little did she know regret was coming fast. Dang Pham's monstrous grip crushed Ai's hopes instantly. Undead warriors swarmed as she tried to leap away. From the shadows, a blade pierced her spine. The trio stopped, letting the wounded prey flee. Tam too praised the master's godlike battle tactics. His genius trap left the enemy 0 escape. Even as she ran, her fate was sealed. That dagger carried a lethal, soul-burning venom. Our master is truly becoming a wicked demon king. Poisoned and desperate, Ai reached her secret allies. She ordered a slaughter, unaware of the lurking doom. But Fan Luke stood there like a god of death. She ignored him, oblivious to his absurd hidden power. 1 axe strike and Ai was completely erased. Arrogant officials scoffed, doubting the master's strength. They called him a peasant, a mere nobody. Hua Vanto looked down on his humble origins. 300 riders? Just a low-born toy. Could a commoner truly lead a bloody rebellion? The team returned, finding their old inn empty. An elder revealed they had moved to luxury. Wealth flowed, and they bought a massive mansion. The group discussed finances and their growing influence. Salaries doubled as they dominated the city's shadows. The Demon Kings expanded their secret trade empire. They feared the master might dislike their schemes. Why destroy temples? The master had a plan. He hates false gods. He is purely logical. These monsters must stay hidden from divine eyes. Their soap business would bring mountains of gold. Selling beauty products? The ultimate merchant cheat. The master returned, and the ladies cheered. Tu Nuong prepared a legendary high-class bath. Amin worried about the master's potential lust. Even beauty like Lython couldn't tempt him. He deserves the spoils of his hard-won growth. It was time to pamper the great leader. Dang Pham appeared, radiating a calm, terrifying aura. Tam Tu bragged about the master's casual victory. While dining, the master reviewed their secret progress. Securing military ranks was a genius move. The master handed the army to his subordinates. Tiger Head City was just their first conquest. These 300 riders would become legendary. Loyal to the crown? No, they serve him. Total loyalty to our Lord Dang Pham is absolute. The blind strategist begins assigning the critical missions. The fractured factions must merge immediately. Since everyone has returned, you two shall spearhead this integration. Xiniang, train the new maidens. Handpick those with divine talent. Meanwhile, Liang Cheng, escort our lord to court. Use this journey to spar. Perhaps the lord will bestow a legendary hint worth a lifetime of mastery. Dang Pham was speechless. How could a weakling like him teach anyone? Yet everyone awaited his divine guidance. The blind man anticipated every word before Dang Pham could speak. Truly, genius minds think exactly alike. Being surrounded by these fanatics was making Dang Pham shamelessly thick-skinned. But what about Amin's task? Blind Man claimed Amin had the most vital role. To fund 300 heavy cavalry, money is essential. The mission? Selling soap. It sounded ridiculously suspicious, making Dang Pham question their grand demonic plans. Training began. After 3 days of being a human punching bag, Dang Pham's constitution transformed remarkably. His body now mirrored a seasoned martial artist. He invited Liang Cheng to bathe, but was swiftly rejected. Meanwhile, Xiniang and Amin plotted their business empire. Soap and perfume would fuel their dark revolution. Xiniang frantically searched for the Lord to offer a massage, while the others discussed a chilling reality. Hard work alone wouldn't restore their lost power. They needed a new path to reclaim their former glory. Suddenly, Blind Man appeared like a ghost. Tonight, the overlords would convene at the Pavilion of Shadows. While Xiniang massaged him, she begged Dang Pham to seek a legendary cultivation method for them all. At the secret meeting, the Demon Kings analyzed Dang Pham's progress. His combat instincts remained hilariously amateur. He had 0 reflexes, yet in 1 month, his physical strength already rivaled elite martial masters. Blind Man dropped a bombshell. Their power recovery was directly tethered to Dang Pham's own hidden level. Think of it like a game system. If the Lord is level 1, the overlords remain capped. If Dang Pham doesn't grow, their godlike powers will remain suppressed forever. A dark suggestion finally emerged. Should we just kill him to break the limit? One whispered. But the suggestion was instantly crushed. He created them from nothing. They swore to protect his path, even if his growth was agonizingly slow. Liang Cheng poured wine, ashamed of the greed surfacing within them. Forget these treacherous thoughts, he commanded. The Demon Kings toasted in silence. If Dang Pham dies, their very existence might vanish into nothingness. To advance their own strength, they had to force their lord to become a true powerhouse. Their demonic methods were too volatile for his body. He needed a proper human master and fast. The overlords were baffled by Blind Man's cryptic plan. Just wait until tomorrow morning, he grinned wickedly. At dawn, they gathered on a desolate mountain path. Xiniang questioned if the target would actually show. Blind Man had intercepted top-secret intel. A notorious horse thief was being escorted to the capital today. The target wasn't just any official, but a powerful martial expert, the perfect teacher for their lord. Killing him to break her limits? Ridiculous. No one agreed, for Dang Pham was the one who created them. Once mere mortals, these Demon Kings had sworn to let their lord forge his own destiny while they watched. They promised protection, yet a tiny taste of recovered power has already exposed their hidden, greedy, true natures. Luang Trin humbly poured the wine, overcome with shame, feeling unworthy to even utter a word to the group. He begged them to finish their drinks and cast those treacherous thoughts into oblivion forever. After this final toast, the Demon Kings drained their cups. Then, the Blind Man finally voiced the cold, hard truth of their situation. If Dang Pham falls, the Demon Kings perish with him. Their lives are eternally bound to their lord's existence. To grow stronger, they must elevate their lord's power. But their brutal methods are far too extreme for him. A legendary mentor is the only solution. Finding a master for Dang Pham is now their most vital mission. Confused, the others pressed the Blind Man for answers, annoyed by his constant riddles and mysterious, lingering silences. With a cryptic smile, he promised clarity by dawn. Next morning, the Demon Kings gathered atop a secluded mountain. Tu Nuang questioned the plan. Was this teacher truly passing by? It felt like the Blind Man's secret orchestration. He'd intercepted intel. A high-profile prisoner was being escorted to the capital for judgment under heavy, professional guard. This was no ordinary official. Their target was a true martial master who had finally entered the supernatural realm. To these elite warriors, the idea of anyone being Master Dang Pham's teacher was purely laughable. A disgraced prisoner? Instructing the Supreme One? Ah Min felt this was a direct insult to their lord. But the Blind Man was buzzing with hype, claiming they'd spent all night debating this perfect candidate. Was it divine providence? A calculated twist of fate? Heaven was clearly favoring our master, dang fam. We must honor the heavens. Following our supreme master is the ultimate glory of our chaotic lives. Truly terrifying. Who knew the blind man possessed the silver tongue of a legendary cult leader? Just then, dang fam arrived. He wanted to see the master these demon kings had actually recruited. Normal people use connections to solve problems. These psychos? They just prefer kidnapping at sword point. Xiaosan almost leaked their true power, but the blind man instantly shut him up. The master must never know his servants are world-ending demon kings, or their cozy relationship might shatter. With Dang Fam's blessing, the blind man mobilized the squad. Only 7 of them would strike tonight. Scouting reports showed another faction was eyeing the target. This heist just got a lot more interesting. They waited for the master's command. Dang Fam, as always, did not disappoint with his tactical greed. Why be the prey when you can be the apex predator lurking in the shadows? Darkness fell. The Liu clan ambushed the convoy. Din Khan knew these traitors wouldn't leave anyone alive. He urged Captain 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒏𝒂𝒕𝒆💅 to retreat, but the stubborn soldier chose a glorious, suicidal stand. As the blade neared 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒓𝒏𝒂𝒃's neck, a soul-shaking sound erupted, paralyzing every soul on the battlefield. The blind man's zither wailed. A shockwave of pure energy left the attackers dazed and broken. Assassins tried to retaliate, but Xinjiang's invisible, razor-sharp threads shredded them in a heartbeat. Mission accomplished. Din Khan was snatched away and brought back to the fortress after a bloody night. But the mood shifted. The blind man checked the pulse and casually declared the target was dead. He suggested mincing Din Khan into fertilizer, since that's how they usually disposed of trash. Dang Fam stood there, bewildered. Was he simply not psychopathic enough to fit in with this crew? Hearing the fertilizer threat, Din Khan miraculously bolted upright. The blind man immediately switched to flattery. It's all thanks to Master's immense luck. He then pivoted straight to the apprenticeship terms. He told Dang Fam that proper etiquette was required. Give him 1 day, and the training would begin. Dang Fam agreed, but warned him not to be too rude. The blind man's smile was chilling. He offered Din Khan safety in exchange for teaching martial arts, but the old warrior refused. Xinjiang's bloodlust flared. She was ready to activate total slaughter mode on the stubborn geezer. She'd seen many heroes turn into whimpering dogs under her torture. Her expression was pure nightmare fuel, but the blind man intervened. This was the master's future sensei. They had to use virtue instead. Virtue? Dang Fam knew better. The blind man was the furthest thing from a saintly gentleman. Suddenly, the blind man remembered that 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒏𝒂𝒃's widow owed him exactly 1 copper penny. He casually ordered Xinjiang to slaughter 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒏𝒂𝒃's entire family tonight over that single cent. Din Khan's spirit broke. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒏𝒂𝒃's daughter-in-law was pregnant, and the man died for him. He couldn't let an entire bloodline perish over a penny. Defeated, he finally agreed to the deal. With the contract sealed, the blind man led him away. "Welcome to your new life," he whispered. He promised immense rewards if the demon kings were satisfied, including restoring Din Khan's destroyed cultivation. Din Khan was skeptical. Is this a trick? The blind man just chuckled with absolute terrifying confidence. "We are surprisingly generous," he claimed. "When Master reaches the peak, you'll have your answers. Then, revenge against the Liu clan would be easy. With demon kings helping, the world is yours." Outside, the blind man chided Xinjiang. "Use virtue to win hearts. Stop thinking about murder. Your choice is made. Now, Ding Jing can hunt the Bofong Lu for absolute revenge. Unless, with Dang Fam's favor, a single command summons every demon king to crush his enemies instantly. Seeking blood, the blind sage warns. Win souls with virtue. Stop solving every problem with total annihilation." Tu Nuong stood frozen. She knew the blind man was cunning, but this cruelty was purely demonic. Threatening an entire family just to coerce someone? This blind strategist was truly a heartless monster. He used a sacrifice as a weapon against Ding Hao. Tu Nuong could only let out a twisted laugh. The blind man's threat targeted his own flesh and blood. Yet, his response was utterly bizarre. He denied everything, claiming he only offered her blessed water and a bit of spiritual guidance. Somehow, that resulted in a pregnancy. This level of absurdity reached the peak of perversion. Despite claiming to be pure and kind, the blind man proved that demon kings are inherently wicked. He was basically insulting himself. Meanwhile, Ding Jing began explaining the secrets of martial cultivation. To master internal energy, one must first accumulate qi within the void valley, then divide its flow. This energy splits into 5 paths, surging toward the limbs and the head of the practitioner. Tu Nuong even began marking these vital pressure points directly onto Amin's living body. Amin begged for a paper drawing instead, terrified by how twisted these people actually were. The blind man casually argued that paper lacks depth. A living canvas is far more accurate for training. They needed to focus their internal force to accelerate blood circulation using the heart as a core. Within 1 week, the body's functions would double in speed, making the skin literally glow with power. Ding Jing continued, explaining that this glow signifies reaching the threshold of a true warrior. Reaching this level guarantees a military rank. It took Ding Jing 10 years to reach rank 9. He called it divine speed. The blind man ordered Amin to test the theory immediately. With the map drawn on his skin, Amin just had to follow the path, despite knowing nothing of qi. He focused on his blood flow. If it moved fast enough, it would generate a spiritual wind. That wind is qi. Ding Jing watched, his jaw dropping at the sheer absurdity of it. It was hilarious. Ding Jing looked at Dang Pham, hoping the master was at least somewhat normal. Seeing the master struggle, the blind man asked for a faster way to trigger the energy. Ding Jing suggested the 5-stone powder, using its raw essence to forcibly shock the meridians. The blind man ordered Luong Trin to use his lethal intent to jumpstart Dang Pham's internal flow. As the killing intent entered his body, Dang Pham felt a numbing sting that quickly turned into agony. Suddenly, he collapsed into violent seizures, foaming at the mouth. Had the poison leaked in? Ding Jing explained the shock. Dang Pham's internal energy was so pure, it was like dry tinder. Luong Trin's intent acted as a spark, causing a massive explosion of power within him. The Demon Kings rejoiced. Their master was no failure, he was a once-in-a-thousand-year genius. Their own powers would soon return. The blind man watched over the unconscious master for 3 days. Upon waking, Dang Pham announced he could feel a fierce, surging energy burning inside him. The teacher gasped. Normally, new qi feels like silk, but the master's was already a raging torrent. The blind man tried to sycophantically congratulate him, but the others beat him to the punch. Congratulations, master. Your talent is peerless. Your grand ambition is finally within reach. The blind man fumed as his minions stole his spotlight. They had learned his brown nosing skills too well. Exhausted by the noise, Dang Pham kicked them out. Tonight, the little ghost took the first watch. The blind man approached the boy, suspicious of his earlier secret meeting with Ding Hao. The boy claimed he was looking for shortcuts to boost the master's rank from 9 to 7. The blind man scolded him. Reckless shortcuts could cause a backlash, trapping them at rank 9 forever. Don't be a clever fool, he warned. We finally have a bright future. Don't ruin it with poison. He feared the boy would kill the master's potential. The demon emperor hadn't even awakened yet. They had no idea when that entity would emerge. The little ghost's eyes gleamed with excitement. If the demon emperor truly woke up, his first act would surely be to slay the current master. The boy imagined the emperor's cold words after the kill. You are unworthy to be my father. Flashback to the spring. Dang Pham and Tunuang were enjoying a dip when she offered him a milky grape. The joke was definitely NSFW, making our hero scold her instantly. We have to keep this PG for the viewers. Training had already pushed him to a feverish limit. He was exhausted, but Tunuang's flirting didn't help his stress. She offered a healing massage, but he sent her packing. It was bedtime, leaving her alone with her lingering secrets. As she walked away, she wondered if the hidden truth about her lord should finally be revealed or kept buried. Alone now, he endured the pain. To become a powerhouse that commands absolute respect, these sacrifices were non-negotiable. He needed to be the ultimate lord. Suddenly, the demon emperor's stone in his pocket floated to the surface. This legendary artifact was surprisingly light. He chuckled, wishing his spiritual son could witness this strange, buoyant miracle. Leaving the stone to bathe, Dang Pham headed inside. He had no idea the artifact was about to go wild. The stone erupted with spiritual pressure. It triggered a massive aquatic vortex, turning the peaceful bath into a raging storm. Nearby, the blind master froze mid-calligraphy. A sudden surge of phantom energy crashed through the room, catching him off guard. He trembled in fear. That overwhelming killing intent meant only one thing: the demon emperor's wrath was finally awakening. Morning brought a grim sight, a long line of coffins. These were the poor souls worked to death by the empire. Hundreds died just transporting grain. Tu Luong reported the city would soon open recruitment to replace the fallen tools. Dang Pham saw the scheme instantly. They weren't helping refugees. They were just farming new taxpayers and expendable soldiers. Amin arrived with urgent news. The county magistrate had summoned the lord to the government office for a meeting. After receiving his official orders, Dang Pham returned. His crew was already waiting to celebrate his new official status. Congratulations, Lord. They planned to use this lieutenant rank as a stepping stone to conquer the entire region's hierarchy. But Dang Pham focused on the war orphans first. The conflict had left countless children alone and starving in the streets. Min suggested adopting 1 or 2 kids. For a low-level officer, that seemed like a reasonable, charitable limit. The blind man disagreed. With a greedy glint, he proposed taking in every single orphan in the entire district. His plan was brilliant: raise a loyal shadow army from childhood while earning a saint-like reputation among the locals. As he lit Dang Fam's cigarette, the hero realized just how corrupt and villainous his inner circle was becoming. Back to the grind. Despite a grueling session, Dang Fam refused to stop until he reached the absolute peak of power. "When will I truly shine?" he asked. His master, secretly terrified by his progress, tried to preach the art of patience. Haste kills growth, the master warned. But internally, he was sweating bullets at the monster he was currently training. At this rate, he'd hit semi-9th rank in days. Real mastery would take him less than 2 months, purely impossible. He smiled while waving goodbye, but his hands shook. Those 6 freaks under him had already reached insane levels. If the subordinates are this strong, the leader's hidden potential must be cosmic. This isn't a student, it's a god. Am I a teacher or just a victim of his genius? He wondered which elite heir was playing commoner today. That is all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to fuel more epic tales of our hidden powerhouse. Stay tuned as we follow the path of the Demon King. See you in the next legendary chapter.